You don't understand. I could have been an attacker. I could have been somebody.
Yo, what is up guys, Bob87 King here, and today we are going to be reviewing episode 15 of this Venture Camp, which was an insane episode in a positive way. We get more Natalia content, we get a progression on the Mathle storyline, and the gameplay is just getting more and more intense to where I'm just very excited to where the season is going, and I'm also very excited to once we get the comeback challenge, just because again, once I explain what happens with the gameplay, I do feel like it will be very interesting to see when two players do come back into the game. Start of the episode with Natalia and Hannah talking about the game, and also Natalia trying to comfort Hannah about voting off Benji. And obviously Hannah is still very upset by this, but Natalia is able to convince her to stay working with the Girls Alliance. I mean, for Hannah's game, it's probably the best option for her anyways, just because, again, what are you going to do? Work with Logan and Richard and Zaid, three people that you really haven't been close to in the game, so yeah, it makes sense here. But to continue off with Natalia playing a really good game in my opinion, we do see her talk to Logan and Richard and trying to convince them or make them feel more comfortable, which obviously Richard is still pretty confused about, but again, I feel like they both still trust her. But we're talking about the meat and potatoes, or at least the main character of this episode, and that is Spencer with his relationship with Jade. With obviously Jade still being clearly pissed off with Spencer, obviously going against their plan and trying to make something else happen, which obviously doesn't work, and that's the second time now that Spencer has gone against Jade's back, while Jade has never really given Spencer a reason to actually distrust her in the game, and it makes Jade feel like they're pretty much in a toxic relationship, which, I mean, to be honest, they kind of are. And Jade even asks Spencer, like, what's going to happen after the game? And then Spencer's like, we're just acquaintances, and once the game's over, we'll go our separate ways. Which, again, terrible gameplay from Spencer, but we'll get more into that. And while she doesn't play a big role in the episode strategically, I do feel like it's very important to highlight the fact that Isabel is still mentioned, at least has character moments throughout the episode. Again, we see her before they enter all the haunted house stuff. We do see her being very paranoid about it, saying it's probably demonic, which obviously it makes sense that none would think that, but it's like, yeah. Again, once they all enter the haunted house, we do see Logan hitting the bell because that's his last name. Again, everything goes haywire, and they have to find books with a number on it to decipher a code. Really nothing of intrigue happens in this section of the challenge, just Jade talking to Hannah just to confirm the fact that the girls are still intact, and Hannah confirming to us, the viewer, that again, she's going to stick with the Girls Alliance, but just not as friends, as just allies. But she unfortunately gets knocked out of the challenge. We do see the girls all plan to take out Spencer, or at least try to sabotage him. We do see Natalia even throw a book at him, causing Spencer to instantly just run out the door and close it on Natalia, and she's out of the challenge. Now the contestants have to split off in pairs of 3, and we do see the gay and the nun and the biologist team up together. We do see Zayd and Anastasia team up together, and we see Mathle team up together. We do see Anastasia tell Zayd about their plan to sabotage Spencer, with Zayd clearly not being in on this plan, saying how he feels wrong doing this, which, again, you don't feel wrong about throwing a challenge, but yet you feel wrong doing this now, the individual portion of the game. It's like, again, you're only really hurting Spencer here and not anyone else, so it's like, I don't know, man. But anyways, he does get convinced, but the main portion of the episode is obviously Mathle, which is Spencer and Logan, where they finally end up kissing, or at least Logan ends up pulling Spencer in for a kiss, and then they just start making out. Which I haven't been able to vocalize my thoughts on Mathle, because I feel like whenever people comment about Mathle, I end up just defending them by just saying, hey, they're just fine, but I don't think that they're just fine. I actually do think that it's a really strong storyline. I think it takes the Raj storyline from the reboot season 2, but pushes it a lot further in my opinion. Seeing these jock male characters actually realize that they're not straight at all, and also seeing the development between Logan and Spencer as they're kind of just friends, but they're kind of cute friends in my opinion, to where I don't know, I just really like their banter. I find it really cute. And while I obviously do also kind of ship Spencer and Diego, I cannot deny the fact that I do really like Logan and Spencer together. And here's the thing, while Diego is obviously good for Spencer, Spencer's not good for Diego, and in my opinion, I do feel like both of these two characters, Mathles, I do feel like that they are both good for each other. And I feel like they are also massively overhated just because, again, people don't like Spencer. People find Logan annoying. And while I personally find Logan annoying as well, I like Logan and Spencer together because Logan isn't insufferable. Also, them kissing means that both of them do have feelings for each other. And while I feel like if Diego comes back, which he's more than likely will, I feel like we're going to see a love triangle that will actually be interesting. Just because, again, Diego still kind of has feelings for Spencer. At least it's still lingering. So, yeah. And I love the Mathle storyline. So there's my thoughts on that. Anyways, after they kiss, Spencer and Logan both try to say their thoughts, but again, Logan falls into a trap, causing him to get eliminated from the challenge. Meanwhile, with the trio, we do see them just pretty much play a Squid game of pretty much step on the wrong tile and you're pretty much dead, causing Isabel to really crash out and start getting really emotional, and she is the one who ends up surviving, and spoiler alert, wins the challenge, and we do see her have a prayer, and I just think it was a really nice moment for her. I also do think, spoiler for once we get to the Zayd and Spencer confrontation, I do think Zayd's confessional also about him talking about how his mom teaches him Allah, I think it's a very nice moment just because, again, I like the diversity in terms of religion here. Again, the final part of the challenge, nothing really special, just get a knife and then you walk out of the door. Spencer ends up trying to pull the knife away from Isabel, and once he's able to do that, Zayd just instantly jumps on him, causing Isabel to get the knife and she wins immunity. And once this happened, I was actually really upset just because I thought, oh, we're going to get the Spencer elimination. This is so obvious, blah, blah, blah. And Spencer is clearly my favorite character. I have the most to say about him. I love Spencer as a character. Again, I find him to be a really fun antagonist for the season. And while I don't think there's truly a main antagonist, you could point at anyone. You could say Linda, you could say Anastasia. I really like how this Venture Camp is kind of pushing the fact that you don't really need a main antagonist. And while Spencer probably is that one, if you really make me like think about it, who's main antagonist, it probably is Spencer. But again, I like the fact that there's variety here. Pocketail Island had that, and I know a lot of people hated it, but again, I like villains, so I don't care. You see Spencer get all the guys together, and Spencer trying to convince Zayd that he's not with the girls, and then Zayd's like, that's not true, man. And then we do see Spencer even bring up Zayd's family, which I know a lot of people say, oh, Spencer went too far, when it's like, realistically, do you guys think people would have a problem if Anastasia said that, if Isabel said that, if Jade said that? No, people just hate Spencer. And while obviously I do understand the fact that people don't like Spencer, and I think Spencer's a dick for doing that, again, it's good TV in my opinion, and we do see Zayd almost literally swing at Spencer, which I kind of find funny, and I really wish we would have seen them fight more, personally. Again, even during the fact when they were wrestling, I was expecting Spencer to actually pull like some defensive move or whatever, just because, again, his ex used to do that, so yeah, I don't know, I personally like the scene. We see Spencer talk to Anastasia, convincing her to flip the vote onto Richard to weaken Natalia's position, and also to see Natalia's loyalty, which, again, people claim this is plot armor just to keep Spencer in the game, when it's like, if you're Anastasia, Hannah, Jade, Isabel even, again, why are you keeping Richard and Logan in the game, two people who just clearly benefit Natalia's game? Or at least maybe less so for Isabel, as again, keeping Richard and Logan in the game probably might benefit her more. Again, I think if you're Isabel, maybe targeting Zayd or Spencer is the right move, but again, I do think Spencer makes a pretty impressive move by actually saving himself without needing an idol. But before Anastasia can tell Natalia that they're flipping the vote, we do see Logan finally come out to Natalia, and it's a really sweet moment, obviously. And Natalia even says, welcome to liking men, it's hell, which, I mean, probably. We do see Anastasia finally tell Natalia that the vote has flipped onto Richard, which obviously she's pretty upset by and is very hesitant by, but again, Anastasia's like, where do you stand with the girls, blah blah blah, and Natalia is able to go through with it. With the main intrigue being who are the guys going to vote for, and we do see the votes land onto Jade, which, if you are Spencer, this is a horrible move. Obviously, completely burning Jade to where Jade will probably never work with you at this point, even if it's a good move for her, just because, again, you constantly burn her to where you're also opening the possibility to where Isabel can just play her idol for her. And also, if Spencer does know, which I don't actually know if he completely knows that Isabel has the idol or not, this is an even worse move, as clearly you're burning someone who's number one ally, at least in the game, also has a totem to where it's like, it's just such a bad move for Spencer's long-term game, and also short-term game, to where I think he really needs to hope that whoever comes back into the game, is either Alessio, Linda, or Diego. And even then with Diego, who the hell knows what's gonna happen here. But we do see Richard go home, which is very upsetting, and Natalia does end up flipping here, and it's a pretty emotional goodbye with Natalia and Logan both being very upset, and this gay little family has me saying this.
You guys are a bunch of queers.
But anyways, we do lose Richard here, who was a very nice character. I love Richard. I have nothing bad to say about him. I thought he was going to be a pretty rich boot, but I'm glad he stayed for as long as he did. But again, he's one of those harder characters to eliminate just because he is so likable. But yeah, we lose him here, so. But has my winner pick from Isabel changed since episode 14 to 15? Which, no, it hasn't. Isabel's still my winner pick at this point in the season. And yeah, that's the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the review and expect more content. And yeah, peace out.
Here with the legendary host of Survivor, Jeff Probst. Jeff, how are you?
Do you like me at all?